I bought my mom a house and paid every bill, until she publicly humiliated me. I cut them off and watched their luxuries disappear. Man, I could still hear my mom's words bouncing around my head long after she said them. You never give us anything but headaches. The dining room was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Everyone just kind of looked away from me. My uncle was stirring his coffee, my aunt was fidgeting in her seat, and my cousins were suddenly super interested in their phones. Not a single one of them jumped in to stick up for me. It stung more than I wanted to admit. I mean, I bought this house for my mom. I've been paying for everything: electricity, water, groceries, even the internet my younger cousins binge watch their shows on. I made sure she never had to worry about money, never had to choose between keeping the house warm and keeping the fridge stocked. But here she was, in front of everyone, tossing me aside like I meant nothing. I clenched my hands under the table, keeping my face neutral. No way was I letting them see me crack. That's not fair, Mom, I finally said, trying to keep calm but firm. I pay for everything: the house, the bills, the food. She cut me off, and you never let us forget it. You act like you're doing us a favor, but a real daughter wouldn't keep score. Swallowing the lump in my throat, I looked around the room. My brother Mark leaned back in his chair, arms crossed and face unreadable. My sister-in-law avoided eye contact, and my cousins stayed silent. No one was backing me up. I took a deep breath. Okay, I said. My mom frowned. Okay what? Okay, I said again, standing up and pushing my chair back. If my help is such a burden, then I won't burden you anymore. The room went tense, and my mom seemed taken aback, like she expected me to argue or beg for some shred of gratitude. But I was done begging for something I should have gotten without asking. I'm done paying for this house. I'm done covering your bills. I'm done funding this whole family while you all treat me like an outsider. My uncle coughed awkwardly, and my aunt's eyes widened. Mark sat forward. Hold on, no, I interrupted, shaking my head. You all sat here and let her say that to me. You let her act like I'm just a nuisance. So fine, let's see how you handle things without me. I grabbed my purse and walked out. As I stepped outside, my hands started shaking and my heart was racing. I'd done it. For the first time in years, I'd set a boundary. But instead of feeling free, I just felt hollow. I got in my car, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. I knew what was coming. Mom would twist my words, the family would rally around her, and I'd soon be labeled the selfish, ungrateful daughter who walked away. But this time, I wouldn't let them guilt me into coming back. My phone buzzed with messages. Mom, come back inside, you're overreacting. Mark, what are you doing? You can't just walk out like that. I turned my phone off and drove away. For the next few days, the silence from my family was deafening. No calls, no texts, nothing. It was eerie, like the calm before a storm. Then, on the third day, the messages flooded in. Mom, the electricity bill is due. I hope you're not actually serious about what you said. Mark, Mom is crying, do you really want to do this to her? Aunt Lisa, honey, families have disagreements, but cutting everyone off isn't the answer. Let's talk. I ignored them all. And then, as if on cue, the guilt-tripping turned into anger. Mom, I can't believe you would do this to us after everything I've done for you. Mark, you're so selfish, you think money makes you better than us. Selfish, that word again. They always threw it at me whenever I didn't bend over backward for them. I let out a humorless laugh and tossed my phone onto my bed. Then came the knock at my door. I knew who it was before I opened it: Mark, standing there with his arms crossed, face twisted in irritation. You've made your point, he said. Now stop being dramatic and fix this. I leaned against the doorframe, arms folded. Fix what? You know what, he snapped. Mom's losing her mind, the bills are stacking up, and you just walk away? I tilted my head. Why is that my problem? His jaw tightened. Because you're the one who always takes care of it. And maybe that's the problem, I said calmly. Maybe it's time someone else steps up for a change. Mark let out a dry laugh. Like who? Mom? She doesn't work. Me? I have my own expenses. And I don't? I raised an eyebrow. You make more than all of us, he shot back. It's not the same. Ah, there it was, the real reason they felt entitled to my money. Just because I make more doesn't mean I owe you anything, I said. I bought that house for Mom. I've covered every bill, every grocery run, every emergency, and instead of gratitude, I get told I do nothing but give headaches. Mark exhaled sharply, running a hand through his hair. She didn't mean that. She was upset. I shook my head. No, she meant it. And the worst part? No one defended me. Not even you. He looked away, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of guilt in his eyes. You don't get it, he finally muttered. Mom's scared. She doesn't know how to handle things without you. Then maybe she should have thought about that before she humiliated me in front of the whole family, I said, stepping back inside. I'm done, Mark. Figure it out. And with that, I closed the door. The next week was chaos. Mom called every relative she could, spinning the story in her favor. She abandoned us. She's punishing me just because I asked for respect. She's selfish, greedy, only cares about money. Some relatives took her side immediately, sending me messages about how family is everything and how I'd regret this one day. But others started seeing the cracks. Aunt Lisa, sweetheart, I didn't know you were paying for everything. That's not fair to you. Cousin Rachel, wait, hold up, you bought the house and she still treats you like that? Mom didn't expect people to ask questions, and when they did, her perfect little victim act started to crumble. By the end of the month, she called me herself, not to apologize, but to beg. Please, just cover the bills for one more month. We're struggling. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and gave her the same answer I'd given Mark, figure it out. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. Days passed, then weeks. I expected my mom to come around eventually, to apologize, to admit she was wrong, to at least acknowledge what I'd done for her all these years. But she didn't. Instead, she doubled down. I started hearing things through the family grapevine, how I'd turned my back on my own mother, how I'd forced her into financial ruin, how I was so full of myself that I thought money. So, it turns out love, family, and especially how my mom raised me, a selfish, ungrateful daughter who bailed on her mom, was supposedly no match for me stopping the cash flow. It was laughable. I had done so much for her, bought her a house, paid her bills, and made sure she never worried about anything. The moment I paused, I became the bad guy. But the thing with lies? They crumble when the truth surfaces, and oh boy, was the truth about to hit her hard. It all started with little cracks. My Aunt Lisa, who usually backed my mom, called me one night. Sweetheart, I visited your mom today. She didn't seem to be struggling. I was puzzled. What do you mean? I asked. Well, she just got a new dining set and a gold bracelet your brother bought her. My stomach churned. My mom had been telling everyone she couldn't afford groceries and that the electricity might get cut off. Aunt Lisa sighed, if that's true, she's not acting like it. More family members started noticing weird stuff too, like how Mark still took weekend trips and how my mom played the victim 1 minute, then posted brunch pics with friends the next. Then the bomb dropped when my cousin Rachel called. Hey, do you know what your mom charges Mark for rent? What? I replied. Heard from his wife that he's only paying her $100 a month. I almost dropped my phone. $100? I've been shelling out thousands every month for that house. The moment I checked out, Mark, who works full-time, tossed her a mere $100. I'd been the family's ATM, giving up my own comfort for them, and when I stopped, they weren't struggling. They faked it, hoping I'd come crawling back. I was done. That Sunday, I returned to the house after weeks. The moment I walked in, my mom's face twisted with that all-too-familiar look, displeasure mixed with triumph. She thought I was there to apologize. Mark leaned against the counter, smug. I almost left, but instead, I took a deep breath and calmly said, I'm never paying for anything here again. My mom scoffed, oh, please, you'll be back. You need us. Mark chimed in, you won't let mom suffer. We all know that. I tilted my head and asked, how much rent are you paying, Mark? His smirk vanished. What? You heard me, I replied. It's my business because I've heard some interesting things, like you giving mom just $100 a month, I said, folding my arms. Meanwhile, she's buying gold bracelets. Mark's face went red. I cut him off. Fair, right? My money should have lasted you years. My mom was speechless. I continued, I'm not coming back, Mom. Not to being used or disrespected after all I've done. I'm your daughter, not your retirement plan. For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. She knew I wasn't bluffing and had no backup plan. I picked up my purse and headed for the door. Mark finally snapped out of his silence, you're just going to leave us like this? I turned back and simply said, you left me a long time ago, then walked out, leaving them to clean up their mess. This time, I didn't look back. The silence was deafening. My phone, once flooded with money requests and guilt trips, went silent. No desperate texts or angry rants. Nothing. For the first time, I felt free. I expected guilt, sleepless nights wondering if I made a mistake, but instead, I felt lighter every day. I hung out with friends, bought new clothes, and even booked a trip, things I never allowed myself to do before. And yet, despite my silence, I knew they were struggling. Cousin Rachel kept me posted. "Mark's losing it. Your mom told him to pay the full rent, and he's fuming." I smirked. "Oh, like an adult, you mean?" "Exactly," Rachel laughed. "Mark tried guilt-tripping the family, but nobody bought it." Good. As for my mom, she stopped going out as much, trying to save face. But people started realizing she had it good with me and messed it up. 3 months passed before I finally heard from her again. Just got home from dinner with friends when my phone buzzed. "Mom." I stared at it, heart racing. I could ignore it. I should ignore it. But against my better judgment, I picked up. "Hello?" Silence, then finally, a sigh. "You really meant it, didn't you?" I swallowed. "Yes, Mom, I did." Another silence, then a bitter laugh. "Didn't think you had it in you." "Well, I did." "So that's it? You just pretend we don't exist?" I sighed. So there I was, rubbing my temples, trying to keep my cool. "Mom, I'm not pretending anything. You've always seen me as nothing more than a wallet. As soon as I stopped being able to pay for everything, you tossed me aside," I said. She went silent for a moment before finally admitting, "I'm struggling." I closed my eyes, feeling a familiar ache. She wanted me to just help out for a few months until things got sorted. "No," she said, her voice turning steely, "you're really going to let your own mother suffer?" Ah, there it was, guilt, her favorite card to play. But this time, it didn't work. "Mom," I said softly, "I've given you all I could, but it was never enough, and it never will be. If I gave you money now, we'd be right back here in 6 months. It's different this time," she tried to argue. "No, it's not," I cut in, "and deep down, you know that." Silence again. "You never planned for a future where I wasn't footing all the bills," I continued. "And now you're seeing that was a huge mistake. But it's not my mistake to fix." Her breath hitched, and for a second, I thought she might cry, but when she spoke again, her voice was cold as ice. "Fine, be heartless then. But don't expect an open door when you finally come to your senses." I exhaled slowly, feeling strangely calm. "I won't," I said and, for the first time ever, hung up on her. I stared at my phone for ages after that, expecting a wave of guilt or that familiar ache to hit. But instead, I felt peace. This time, I had picked myself. This was my victory. Weeks turned into months, and still, no guilt crept in. Instead, I found relief. No more knots of anxiety in my chest, no more checking my bank account, calculating what I could give before the next ask. I was free. And I wasn't just surviving, I was truly living. I started traveling, something I'd always wanted but never allowed myself to do. I went to Italy, sat in a quaint cafe in Rome, and let the sun kiss my skin. I took a trip to the mountains, hiking trails I never thought I'd have time for. I finally decorated my apartment to reflect who I am, not a life sacrificed for others. I spent time with friends, laughing till it hurt, and didn't have to explain spending money on myself. The best part? I didn't have to justify anything to anyone. Then one evening, as I was sitting on my balcony, sipping wine, my phone buzzed. "Mark." I almost didn't pick up, but curiosity got the better of me. "Hey," his voice was quieter than ever. "Hey," I replied. There was a long pause before he admitted, "I screwed up." I blinked. "Come again?" He sighed, "I should have backed you up that night at the family dinner when Mom humiliated you. I guess I assumed you'd always be there, no matter how much crap we threw at you. Then when you left, I had to step up and finally realize just how much you did." Another pause. "I'm sorry." I exhaled slowly, gripping my wine glass tighter. "What changed?" I asked. He chuckled dryly. "Mom. She's still playing the victim, telling everyone you abandoned her. But now that I'm the one handling things, it's clear, nothing is ever enough for her." I sighed knowingly. "Yeah, I know that feeling. I don't know how you did it for so long," he muttered. "I thought I had too," I replied simply. Silence hung between us until Mark cleared his throat. "I don't expect immediate forgiveness, but I needed to say it. I was a crappy brother, and I see that now." I closed my eyes, letting his words sink in. I wasn't sure if I was ready to forgive, but for the first time in years, he wasn't demanding anything from me. He wasn't guilting or manipulating, he was just apologizing. And maybe that was enough for now. A few weeks later, I got another call, from an unknown number. Instinct told me to pick up. "You think you're better than us now?" Mom sneered. Hello to you too, Mom, I replied, rolling my eyes. You've embarrassed this family, just walking away, she spat. Everyone knows what you did. Oh, and what exactly did I do? I asked, my voice calm. You left me to suffer, she almost wailed. Suffer? I echoed, incredulous. You mean like how I worked tirelessly to keep you comfy for years? Paid for everything while you judged me? I raised you, she snapped back. And I repaid you 1,000 times over, I countered, more than any child should have too. Silence. You think you don't need me? She finally said, quieter now. I know I don't, I corrected, and that scares you, doesn't it? More silence, then, as usual, she laughed mirthlessly. You'll be back, she declared. One day, you'll realize family is all you have, and don't expect me to be waiting with open arms. I smiled, I won't, and hung up for the last time. A year later, I was on a beach, watching the waves roll in. I'd moved, started fresh, found happiness in the quiet freedom of not having anyone expecting stuff from me. Mom tried reaching out a few more times with the same old tricks, but I never answered. Mark and I were slowly rebuilding, and though I wasn't sure we'd ever be super close, I appreciated the effort. As for me, I was finally, truly happy. No more being the family bank account, the scapegoat, or living my life for anyone else. I took a deep breath, the salty air filling my lungs. I was free and determined never to look back. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. And hit the notification bell to stay updated with more crazy real-life stories happening around you.